Welcome to the DICF podcast, where we showcase our community partners. And today we're happy to have with us the South DeKalb YMCA and our director, Mark Henderson. Welcome, Mark.
Thank you so much. I'm happy to be here. Happy and excited to get into a conversation
Absolutely.
to talk about our community and the work that we're doing.
I'm excited to hear about it. I've heard about the Y all of my life, and I'm sure many of our listeners have as well. Can you tell us a little bit about the origin story of your organization?
Sure. Well, the Metro Atlanta YMCA is 167 years old. It's been a part of the metropolitan Atlanta community for many, many years. With that being said, the South DeKalb branch has been around since the late 1960s, early 1970s. It's one of the unique YMCAs in the United States because at a time when there were not a lot of YMCAs serving suburban African-American communities, the South DeKalb YMCA in its heyday was one of the largest service providers in the United States in the YMCA. So we're very proud of our history. We've had up to 4,000 or 5,000 kids enrolled in youth sports, after-school childcare, aquatics, senior citizens with exercise classes and swimming classes and water aerobics. And of course, fitness is a very important part of what we do.
Thank you so much for sharing that. That was super helpful. And actually, I did not even know that about the South DeKalb location. What would you say the gaps that you guys are currently filling in the community that people don't realize currently exist?
Sure. The South DeKalb community has changed significantly in the last 25 years. There's been a lot of population shifts, a lot of demographic shifts, a lot of the families that were once in that community years ago have aged out and have since moved on. So there's a new demographic in the South DeKalb community. Unfortunately, that means that we have a lot of families that are dealing with financial challenges and cannot afford a lot of the programs that are beneficial academically, socially, in the development of the children, the seniors, and parents and families in the community. So availability of programs, availability of services is lacking. South DeKalb, unfortunately, when you look at that Wesley Chapel, Snapfinger corridor, it's turning into a service desert. There aren't a lot of opportunities. Of course, with those opportunities, there's a need for funding and resources. But South DeKalb also presents a very, very strong business community that really supports what we do. But if there is a particular thing, resources, funding is really important, and investing in what will make that community strong once again.
Well, since we are on the DICF podcast, can you talk to us a little bit about how your goals align with DICF, as well as how they have benefited the YMCA as a partner?
What's really important is partnerships, collaboration, pooling resources, identifying what organizations and what agencies and what service providers in the South DeKalb community are working on particular community issues. Oftentimes we live on our own little island and we don't know what's happening next door. We don't know what's happening around the corner. And this provides us a chance to know what other agencies and organizations are doing and to create a consortium of sorts so that we can pool our resources, which makes us stronger in what we provide. So it's extremely important. Often in my career, I have had opportunities in the YMCA to work with other service providers where we may not be the expert in a particular thing. There are other agencies that provide excellent services that through this opportunity, we're able to partner with and go after funding resources.
I love that. So thank you, DICF. Could you tell us a little bit about, or one impactful story about a client that you've served, or a story that you think really helps tell the story of what the YMCA is doing in the community?
So recently, as we all know, we are in the midst of the holiday season. It's Thanksgiving just passed, Christmas is coming. And we had the opportunity through unique partnerships to serve over 300 people, over 60 families for our Thanksgiving dinner and food giveaway.
Nice.
That was with the DeKalb County Police Department, PALS, DeKalb County Juvenile Court, DeKalb County Human Services, other businesses in DeKalb. There's a haunt, so to speak, one of the neighborhood bars. It's called Zanza. And I would be remiss not to mention them because they purchased over 500 turkeys for us to give away to the community. And they are leading the effort right now for our toy giveaway, which will be December 20th. So it's all of the community. The Chick-fil-A that's right in our neighborhood. The owner operator, who unfortunately I can't remember his name at the moment, but he donates to our events all the time. We do a big Healthy Kids Day where we had over 1,000 kids come out for fun. We gave out over 1,000 backpacks for back to school. And it was the community that helped with that because we didn't have available funding to make those purchases. So there are people that care about the neighborhood. Crime is on the rise in South DeKalb. And we kind of look out for each other. So it's extremely significant opportunities for partnerships. And we all contribute together.
Thank you so much for sharing that, Mr. Henderson. Another thing about you being in the community, you talk about crime being on the rise and looking out for one another. So how do you build trust in the communities that you serve?
Consistency, not to overpromise and underdeliver, to do what we say we're going to do, and to be available. One of the things that's really important for me as a director at South DeKalb is that our doors are open. We're open 7 days a week. The community is well aware of the fact that if there's anything that they want to do that fits within the realm of what we can do, our building is open. We don't turn away anyone based on their inability to pay. So trust and building relationships, what's really important is to be consistent and keep your promises.
Absolutely. I love that. Look, inability to pay, we could come to YMCA for help. Thank you.
No, y'all got to pay.
Oh, dang it. Let me get myself together. Right? Absolutely. What partnerships are you looking to build next?
What's unique about every community are the businesses, the churches, the park and recreation facilities, the other nonprofit organizations, the community, the residents, and bringing everybody to the table provides us with the opportunity, again, to be very effective and efficient in the services that we provide. So we are welcoming anyone who wants to contribute and anyone who wants to help.
I like that. So when you think about the biggest challenges that your organization faces today, outside of funding, what is the biggest way that someone can help?
Volunteer. We need volunteers. We have a food pantry. We give away food to families 2 or 3 days a week. We are partnering with the Atlanta Community Food Bank and Northwest Food Pantry and Helping Mamas, which is another nonprofit organization that provides supplies, food for young mothers. So people coming in to help with distributing a lot of the products that we have. Mentoring. We are working on developing a new program at South DeKalb, which is Boys and Men of Color. So we are asking for mentors to volunteer, to be mentors to the kids. We have a community garden. So we're asking for people who love urban farming, come on in, help us with our community garden. So, we actually have a lake, we have a pond that we stock with fish. So teaching kids how to fish, that's really important too. Any kind of enriching opportunity that provides cultural exchange and learning opportunities for kids, we try to do.
I love that. And those are some really cool things. You make me feel, I think the Y is now overlooked as a community resource. As you mentioned, many people don't really consider all that you're offering. If you did have unlimited funding, what is something that you would offer differently or expand upon to offer the community?
I would say for youth, academic enhancement, academic support. We want to make sure that the children in our community have the opportunity to go to college.
Mhm.
And that preparation starts early. That starts with our early learning programs.
Mhm.
It starts in elementary school, and we need to make sure that we're doing the kinds of things that are encouraging and supporting our kids. The other thing is health. Health is really important.
Mhm.
We deal with residents and citizens that have high blood pressure, hypertension, diabetes. What kind of resources are we offering that provide the community with healthy nutrition options and choices?
Mhm.
One of the things that we're able to benefit from, we have a partner, KC Medical. They came out and provide health screenings
Mhm.
for many of our members and participants. So I would say health and academic enhancement.
Nice, nicely done. And so many things I want to ask. And I know we're kind of coming up on time,
It's okay.
but there's plenty that I would like to know. And you've really said it in the stories that you've told and explaining about the organization. But if you were going to put the YMCA's philosophy of leadership in a nutshell, how would you describe that to us?
What attracted me to the YMCA? I started working at the YMCA when I was a student at Morehouse College.
Mhm.
And the YMCA is unique in that it will mold itself into meeting the needs of the community that it serves. So the YMCA will be different in different communities. It won't be the same. So we try to identify community needs, come up with a strategy to address those needs, and then create effective services. We have our CEO, Lauren Kuntz, has two non-negotiables: youth and teen safety and fiscal responsibility. So we have to make sure that what we do is within the boundary and realm of what we can provide. But once we've done that, it's important, for us to remain effective in identifying those community needs and then meeting them.
Well, thank you for meeting them. Do appreciate that. So, what are you hearing from the people that you serve? What are some of the testimonies from the community that you guys get?
What I love about our community is our community has the ability to be honest. And in honesty sometimes comes criticism.
Mhm.
And we listen. It's important to listen to what the community has to say. And they may have comments about our food pantry boxes. Well, how come you all don't have more fresh fruit?
Mhm.
Or how come we're not getting fresh meat in the boxes or
Mhm.
whatever? Or why can't you have a exercise class at 5 o'clock in the morning on a Saturday?
Mhm.
I think, once you establish a relationship and people are willing to be honest and communicate with you, it's important to be honest, in your responses, because there are things that we can do and there are things that we can't do.
Mhm.
But what I know is the community is very happy that we're there.
Mhm.
And it's about building relationships.
Yes.
We become extended members of the families that we serve. It's, the work that we do is not a 9 to 5 job. I think that in the YMCA, we are in the business of saving lives. Just like a doctor, just like a psychiatrist, just like anyone who takes seriously the lives of the
Mhm.
people that they serve. So that's
Absolutely.
important to us.
No, I think that you actually usurped my next question, right? In regard, no, that means that you are definitely in tune with telling the story and making sure that you represent what the YMCA is contributing very well. You guys are doing an awful lot of work in the community. So with that being said, what part of the work that you do keeps you up at night?
The challenge that we have in the community that we serve is we are well aware of the challenges that the kids and the seniors and the families in our community face every day. Crime is on the rise. And when you look at statistical data and information, what you'll find is a lot of the violent crimes that are being committed, specifically in the South DeKalb community, are being committed by kids. A lot of the kids are getting arrested. They're 11, 12, 13 years old. Carjackings, assault, battery, murder. It's the kids in our community that are committing these crimes. So what are we doing to fight the battle that brings those kids closer to home and closer to a safe space and a safe place, so that we can provide healthy alternatives away from what a lot of our kids face every day. Unfortunately, we are in a period of time, and the YMCA is not a political organization, but unfortunately, we are in a period of time where there are not a lot of resources available for youth services. With that being said, how do we garner what we need and identify resources in our community so that we can provide that service? If not, things will continue to get worse. There are a lot of senior citizens that are sick and that are shut in, and that live in inhumane conditions. What are we doing to identify those seniors, identify the needs, and work towards solutions?
What is the legacy that you want the South DeKalb YMCA to leave behind?
It's uplifting to have a conversation with someone who is 60 years old, 50 years old, 40 years old, that will walk into the doors of our YMCA and share a story about how they learned to swim in our building when they were 5. And they remember the name of their swim coach, or they remember the name of their basketball coach, or their tutor, or whoever that individual was that made a significant impact. I have worked in and out of the YMCA for the last 40 years. And I was working at the YMCA as a 19-year-old college student. Oftentimes, I'm out at the grocery store or in a restaurant, and someone will approach me and say, "Hey, Coach Mark, remember you coached me in basketball when I was 8. Now I'm 35." And I don't remember, but that's the impact we want to be able to have. We want to be able to impact lives in a positive way when we know that that provides opportunities that will point our children and our families, in the right direction, and assist them as much as we can. We can't be everything to everybody, but we can do what we can. If we can't solve the problem, we can point them in a direction to someone who can. So we don't turn anyone away. Our doors are always open, and we love the community that we serve.
Mr. Henderson, Director Henderson, it has been amazing spending time with you today.
Thank you.
So another thing that we want to let the audience know, that we're going to put up a card now. It's going to give you all the contact information for the South DeKalb YMCA, the best way to connect with them, the best way to follow them on social media and any other platform. So please make sure that you reach out. If you have time to volunteer, if you have time to donate, please do that. And while we take it on out of here, do you have a story that says, "This is why I, Mark Henderson, do this work"?
When I was a small kid, 10 years old, growing up in Oakland, California, a long way from Atlanta, and I was an only child, and I didn't necessarily live in the safest community. And I wanted to have a place to go where I could be safe, where I could have fun, where I could make friends. And for me in my life, it was a YMCA. So it was fitting to choose the YMCA as a professional career because of the impact that the YMCA made in my life. So, I encourage people to seek out job opportunities in the YMCA. We do a little bit more than pass out basketballs and towels and sweep gym floors. We provide quality services, and it's enriching to everyone, from our participants to our staff, to our extended community. So that's been the highlight of my life.
I love that story. You definitely have re-engaged my mind and thoughts about the YMCA, and I hope many of you will take the time to learn more as well. Thank you so much for being on the DICF podcast, and thank you for learning more about our community partners. Until next time.